been a very long time since I've just busted a nut in the middle of the road like that. Today we're gonna go get some gas in this thing. This is the first time I've tried to drive it anywhere. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the transmission slips if you try to beat on it. I don't know. We're gonna find out though. Because if it's already dying, we might as well just make it die the rest of the way. YOLO. Also, the gas in here is like 2 years old, so it's not good. That's why it doesn't start very well. But we'll get some fresh stuff in there. It'll be a lot better that way. So it's probably like very, very empty right now, but the closest gas station is only a couple miles away. And this is my gauge cluster. Likes to shut off sometimes. That's the only source of gauges I have. It plugs into the OBD hole down there. And yeah, when you use a factory harness, you actually have an OBD port, which is pretty wild that I can you can plug a GM MDI thingy into this and it thinks it's a 2009 Silverado. I think it's amusing. So get your seat belts on here. These seats were not in here when I got the car. I put them in a long time ago. They must have taken the seat out of this thing or something because my belts are all freaking screwed up. And they're like pinched under the back of the seat. But whatever, we're just gonna go get gas. There's no plate in this shifter, so like you could throw it into park while you're moving. It's kind of like a last minute thing. When I put this together, I didn't have a shifter for it. So that's just kind of how it ended up. This is a fast car. I can already tell. I mean, I think we all knew that, but like, I was like SpongeBob big toe in the pedal, and this thing would have just run away from my Duramax without even trying. I'm not gonna lay into it until we get the good gas in there, because this thing is boosted, and there is no heat exchanger on it right now. So it's really cold outside, which helps, but it's gonna get hot. Like the boost air is gonna get hot. I mean, God, I gotta do something about this steering. It's just typical. The A bodies have a spindle that is not, like, the ball joint needs to be raised to correct the geometry on these things. So, because whenever you turn, they just don't patch the ground very well. So we got some gas. I don't know how. This annoys the freaking crap out of me. Whatever. I'll have to fix it later. God, I hate that. It's gotta be better than nothing though. Oh, my exhaust is gonna scrape on this. It took 7 gallons, so it was definitely low. I put a couple gallons of random stuff into it the other night to help it start. It was probably like E70 or something. This is not a flex fuel car, but I'm like, you know, a little burn off anyway. I'm feeling exploratory here, so we're going somewhere. But we're getting on the George Bush Turnpike. Driving car. I know it does not handle very well, like steering wheel wise, but just rolling down the road, I mean, the windows are up. These pipes mufflers are not very loud. They make noise when you reef on it, but aside from that, they really don't. Like, cruise is really quiet, converter's locked up, you hear stuff rattling. I think that's a driveline vibration. Everything in here is pretty questionable. And I really should not be getting on the highway because I may not get off the highway under my own power. But if something were to happen and I get stuck, then it just makes the video better. So we're just gonna send it. We're spinning already. I'm barely breathing on this thing. 55 miles an hour at 17 150 RPM, converter locked. It's got 373s in the back and like a 28-inch tall tire. Or 20, it's not even 28, it's like 27 or something. It's not a tall tire. It needs more tire. The wind is blowing my mirror over, so I have to roll down my window and fix it. I need to like tighten that up a little bit. Yeah, this is I'm nervous to lay into it because I really don't know what it's gonna do, but it scoots. And it's got a driveline vibration that I really don't like. So I'm gonna get off the highway before we really mess something up and all my mirrors fall off. God dang, that is loud. All these dang mirrors need to get tightened. They all fall over. That's really annoying. Yeah, I gotta find a transmission for this thing like today. See if anything's leaking here. It's leaking something. I don't know what it is though. That's either like oil or power steering fluid. It's not warm, so I don't think it's motor oil. I think it's power steering. Oh well, you know, just wipe that on my pants and keep going. I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do this. I'm just gonna pull out there and whoop, and then come back. Well, apparently it's got some fuel slash problems. Might not be as full as I thought it was, because it just totally cut out on me for no reason. Now, it's done that to me before. Like whenever I would go screw around with this in the parking lot back in Pennsylvania over the last couple years, I've like, you know, slid around and had it just die. I don't know why. It's got to be fuel related. Might just not be enough in the tank. I mean, it took 7 gallons and spit out, but I can't remember how the freaking baffling or anything works in there, and I didn't try to put more in either, so I don't know. We'll get it back inside before the freaking cops show up or something. I didn't do that much, but you never know who was looking. I feel like I'm in high school again. It's been a very long time since I've just busted a nut in the middle of the road like that. Swing it wide because this thing's 18 freaking feet long. 97. See, that's weird, the transmission's only 120. I don't quite understand that, but I don't know. I'm not asking questions. All I know is it doesn't work the way it's supposed to, so there's something wrong with it. See if we can figure out where this leak is coming from. I strongly suspect it's power steering because the oil's just not hot. See, it's dripping down there again. It just doesn't look like oil, engine oil to me. Then you can see the puddle it made from where I was sitting idling for a really long time before. It's all up in there. Gotta be power steering. You see it's all shiny up behind the frame rail? Yeah, I just saw it drip out of the back of the power steering pump. Well, how about them apples? I'm also missing a bracket, or like a bolt on the bottom there. That's not the one I was talking about that I lost, but I guess it's another one that I need to find. Guess I'll just have to message Jesse Olson on Facebook and ask him if he still makes those things and get a couple more up in here. Fix that right up. But yeah, I'd say that was a successful test drive. Here's what we learned. One, obviously the power steering leaks, need to fix that. Two, it's got a gnarly driveline vibration, which I'm pretty sure I know the reason for. Three, transmission slips in like upper gears, like third and fourth. And four, missing that bracket down there, that's not good. Five, also bonus problem, it needs a heat exchanger put back in. But yeah, that's an obvious thing. I'm 95% sure, 99% sure that driveline vibration is caused by my like foobar together tail shaft housing for that transmission, because it's an all-wheel drive 6L80 that I put the two-wheel drive cover on and use the slip yoke from a Turbo 400 because the car ones have the companion flange, not the slip yoke like the truck ones. Well, when that's on there, the shaft kind of sticks out pretty far and it doesn't have that much support. So I'm fairly certain that shaft is what's causing the problem. And that might also be why it's slipping, because when that shaft is connected to a transfer case, it's, you know, bolted together and it does not move. It's pretty much just floating. Like, transfer case holds itself. It's not really taking any load. It's just turning. Where now the drive shaft is spinning off of it. So if it's not properly supported, it's gonna do all kinds of goofy stuff. That's probably why all this is happening, but it's still better than it was before, because with the 6L90 in it before, it straight up just stopped moving. Like, you'd put it into drive and it would roll and it would move around and then it would just stop. Like, it would come in and out of gear for whatever reason. We tore it apart and the pump ended up being all scored up, so that had something to do with it. So I threw that thing in there just because I had it laying around. I wanted the car to move again. That's what it did. But I think now 609, nice. I'm gonna scour Facebook Marketplace in DFW and see if anybody's got a two-wheel drive 6L90 from a truck laying around and get the ball rolling on getting this thing moving, because now I've tasted blood. I've felt what that thing feels like when it's starting to come into power, and I want it. I want it. All right, it's gonna be fun. I forgot to film an outro for this with the GoPro, so I'm just using my phone now. I'm actually editing this video, gonna get that finished up, and then the rest of my night is packing shirts, which is fun. Speaking of shirts, right now I'm wearing one of Alex Bowman's shirts, actually. So I don't just wear my own stuff, but I prefer to wear things from people whose hustle I support. So that's why you'll find me wearing things like that. Especially ones that print them on Next Level brand shirts, because I really like those. That's what I use for mine. And that's why they're a little bit more expensive than, you know, other people's. They're like the typical $20 thing, just because, like, I don't like the heavy, thick t-shirts. They're not good for working in the heat and whatever. But anyway, that's a whole nother rant aside. Hit that subscribe button if you like this car. Let me know what you want to see me do with it. And if you have any input regarding anything goofy that it's doing, let me know. As far as, like, you know, little stuff like keeping the mirrors tight and dumb stuff like that. Any tips, tricks from, I know some of you guys, my audience is older than most people in this sphere. So I know you guys have some tricks up your sleeves, and that's the kind of stuff I want to hear. So leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking.